and welcome again to Women to Women. It's great to have you with us. I'm Carol Paz, your hostess, and as always, we always promise a delightful guest, and you're going to have that. I'm going to introduce you to her in just a moment. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsors for this first half, Villa Basque Deli and Cafe, right here in Carson City, home of Pete's famous Basque delicious chorizo, as well as Carpa Nevada LLC, importer of fine Portuguese olive oils and aged balsamic vinegar, as well as international health teas. And we'd also like to thank carsonnow.org. If there's anything going on in Carson 24/7, that's the place to go, carsonnow.org. So let's welcome Dana Friend. Dana, thank you. And I know our audience is scratching their head and saying, why is Carol on that side and Dana on that? Because some of our viewers, and Dana herself, thinks that she can peel some more layers off of this onion, okay? And find out more about Carol Paz. And so it really is a pleasure to have Dana. She has interviewed people many different places, many different times. But I'm going to turn the program over to her for time being. Dana?
Well, Carol, thank you for being with us today. And I'm looking so forward to this all day today.
Okay.
Well, some of the things I think that people would like to know is a little bit, let's start with your young background. Where did you first come from?
Well, I was born in the Midwest. I'm from Ohio, a very small town in the northwest corner, just outside of Toledo. And I stayed there. I grew up there. It was a great childhood. That doesn't mean that I came from any kind of financial blessings, okay? But my father was very stable. Great parents, great vacations together, a sister that was very close in age to myself, and we traveled a lot as children with our parents. So that was the education out of school during the summertime.
Oh, very nice.
And my mother was a teacher, and she convinced my father that not all things were learned in books. So I think I got my love of adventure and sense of confidence in traveling, not overconfidence, because a lot of things can happen, but not afraid to leave my home.
To get out there and take that adventure. What about any college or vocational? What did you do after high school?
Well, during those days, it was a college prep that I was interested in. So those were my courses of study during high school. And I was preparing, believe it or not, to enter medical school at Ohio State University.
Wow.
So I was in pre-med at Ohio State until I met an intriguing gentleman that said, you're meant to be a teacher. And I really took offense at that. I said, I'm meant to be a doctor. And he said, you're not listening to your inner self. You're not listening to what you really like. You love books, you love teaching, you love all kinds of subjects. So my junior year, I transferred out of pre-med and into the humanities with languages and with science as my majors, and also with English as a major. And then I went back and I got my educational degree at Ohio State too. So I'm a Buckeye.
Very good to know. You know, one of the things I know about you is you speak several different languages.
I did, Dana, until I came back into the United States where, you know, culturally, we really don't need to speak more than one language.
Back into the United States?
Yes.
What led you out of the United States?
Well, when I married a great man from what was then pretty much called or known as Persia, which today is modern-day Iran. And I went back to live with him in Tehran, and Farsi is the speech of Iranians. So Farsi I do speak. I did speak some Arabic, but because I don't practice it on a weekly routine with family, etc., I understand a lot of it, but I don't speak it anymore. And I did speak German fairly fluently, but again, that was a part of my travels and time in Germany, in Hamburg, Germany. So, and I speak French as a second language very fluently.
Oh, so. Very, very nice. When you were in Tehran, were you there during some very tumultuous times?
Oh, yes.
Over that? What did you experience with that?
Well, you know, we don't move into those environments on purpose if we're sane, okay?
Yes, it's never planned.
Those events can build until there comes a catapulting of emotions into and out of the country. I was there, I moved into the country in 1974, and the revolution began in 1979. But I had been in and out of the country to visit, of course, the States to come back to my family and ties, but also to visit England and to be in France and Germany for a while. And I didn't realize, as an American living there, married to a national, that my comings and goings would become an issue eventually. There was a very good rapport between, at that time, the Shah of Iran and the American government. So my travel time and my travels within the country, they were monitored, but never with a fear of my child being abducted or myself being abducted. That changed radically when the hostage taking took place at the American embassy. So we had to make some very quick decisions about staying or leaving, and it wasn't easy to get out. And there's an expression in Farsi which is called parti-bazi, which means connections. You have to have connections of some sort, whether it's political connections, governmental connections, financial connections, some kind of positive that will help you get out. And many people, not myself, sensed that this was coming long before it actually happened, and they got their possessions, they got their finances, they pretty much reinvested in another country, and those countries were Greece, they were France, they were Spain, they were England, and they were in the United States and Canada too.
Did you find yourself, as this was escalating in the country, were you starting to realize, I need to make plans in case I need to get out?
Well, it dawned on me probably, yes, of course, in time, but it was a long time coming because I never thought, and my family, my Persian family, never believed that the United States could not handle the situation. And there was, from my opinion, from my readings, from my understanding and living in it, there were missed signals, missed communications. I don't think that the government of the time under the Shah really understood the forcefulness of the rebels and their cause, and that had always been there. Without going into a lot of detail, there's always political intrigue. There are many revengeful attitudes that one day want to emerge and make up for what was done to them. So that's all part of revolution. And revolution means killings, it means bloodshed, it means sacrifice, it means giving up whatever you have, in most cases, losing it. And that's exactly what happened. We lost everything, except our lives.
So when it came time to make a plan, you were only able to get out with just your family?
I was sent out with our son by my husband into Germany, believing that eventually this would just fall apart, the revolution would fall apart in 3, 4, 5 months, and we would return to our home. We had built a new home. That did not happen.
Wow.
And messages were, of course, coded. They were encrypted verbally and in writings to let the receiver of that information know, it was getting worse, not better. So I would say that probably every family, or the majority of families, that would be a fair thing to say, lost someone. Someone was killed, someone was lost to death during that revolution. There was not a family, basically, that didn't suffer loss.
Wow. So when you left there, what did you do when you came back to the States? How did you reestablish your life? And where?
Well, we came back into New York eventually. We went to Germany, and we thought about living in Germany if the revolution continued, and it was impossible to go back to Iran. And that became the case. But my husband, who did not speak German, he spoke several languages, but German was not one of them. And to live in Germany rather than another country meant probably more time in trying to establish something that would pay the bills than if we came back to the United States. So we thought about Canada, but I'm an American citizen. My husband was not. And we came back to the States realizing that that's where family, stability of government, stability of life offered the best opportunity to start over again. So we did literally. We started with toothpicks. We started with an empty. We finally, my husband managed to get another job with an Iranian-American company that was very solid. They were family, and they welcomed us back. There was a lot of animosity toward an Iranian, regardless if he was for the Shah, against the Shah, for the revolution, against the revolution. In our company, a family-owned and operated company, people were coming and going according to politics.
Wow.
Some who lived a very good life here in the States went back and joined the revolution. Others came out of the revolution like ourselves and joined the company here. And we reestablished ourselves in New York State, which was a challenge, but thank goodness, and God is good all the time. Our families really helped stabilize, especially our son, Kamran, who needed to know that his grandparents were safe back in Iran, that his family here would receive him and help protect him, and they did. So we built another life out of the ashes of a former life. But you know, it's surprising what you learn and what you realize, that with help from many people and with help from God, what can be redone again, even better than the first time.
Something new, a phoenix rising out of the ashes.
Yes.
So after New York and raising your son for many years, what happened next in your life as your son was growing up, your first marriage? What happened with that?
There was probably even another tragedy mightier than the first. And I'll share that with you in the second half of the program.
Very good.
So don't go away. We'll be right back. Thank you.
We always knew that when we had another baby, we would love it if I could stay home. The kids shape what we do. Everything's about them. So we had to make a lot of changes. Quick Balance is this really nice feature of the Bank of the West app. The more I check into my balance, the easier it is for me to stay on track. You don't even have to log in. Hold on tight. You're on call, 24/7. Every minute that the app saves me is a minute that I can spend with my family. And that means everything to me.
Come to the Carson Horseshoe Club for fun and friendly service. Play your favorite games. Join our Players Club, where you get cash for points plus food comps, and enjoy casual dining in our Lucky Horse Grill. Get it all in the heart of downtown Carson City at the family-owned, local favorite Carson Horseshoe Club.
Apex SCF provides cutting-edge, hands-on training that effectively addresses today's threats of violence.
The Apex Stay Alive course teaches proven methods for personal protection and attack countermeasures that can be applied in any environment. In your home, at the workplace, or on campus, Apex will teach you the necessary skills to stay alive, including how to recognize and react to an active shooter scenario.
If you knew you had to fight for your life tomorrow, would you train today? Contact us now to sign up for a class in your region.
Hi, I'm Stephen Lincoln with CarsonCityHomes.com, Carson City's original online real estate resource.
At CarsonCityHomes.com, you get effective and easy-to-use tools to help you select your next home today. With our easy-to-use website, you can search listings throughout Northern Nevada and narrow the results by selecting every facet, quirk, and quality you desire. Visit CarsonCityHomes.com.
How would you feel if a fire broke out in your home and you couldn't hear the smoke alarm? Especially if it's someone you love. Visit ReadyWasher.com to receive a smoke alarm that is specially designed for the deaf and hard of hearing. These smoke alarms send a wireless signal to a receiver that gives you strobe and vibration notification.
Local fire departments urge everyone to be prepared.
Visit ReadyWasher.com to help assure the safety of your family.
In business for over 5 years, Play Your Own Music offers music lessons from the best quality music instructors in the area. We also offer band instrument rentals, guitar repair, and we have a recording studio on site. Call us at 885-PLAY.
Welcome back to the second half of our program, Women to Women. We're with Dana Friend, who is turning the tables on me a bit tonight. Okay, she's interviewing me. But I'd like to thank our sponsors before we continue. The Horseshoe Club here in downtown Carson City, a locally owned, family-owned business that has so much tradition and history inside of it and outside of it, and just its location. When you have a chance to stop in and enjoy that tradition, do so. The Horseshoe Club, right here in Carson City. We'd also like to thank Dr. Kent Gabriel, a noted plastic surgeon. Fine background, and we're so honored to have this man in our community. So we thank Dr. Kent Gabriel for his sponsorship as well. So Dana, let's turn it back to you.
All right. We left off and we're going on you leaving New York.
Yes.
And restarting your life after that, and you had some challenges, some very, very personal, deep challenges you had to meet after that.
Right. Well, actually, before we left New York, my husband had been having severe headaches, sometimes double vision, back in Iran. But he had a childhood that he had come through with such challenges medically, and he had toughed it out and he had made it. So we didn't think too much of it in New York. But as time progressed, it was a brain tumor. It was a malignant brain tumor. And that eventually took his life. And I thought, wow, this I wasn't expecting. And it happened to me when I was fairly young. And I had thought, what would he want me to do with our son, Kamran? How would he want me to continue? And I knew the answer right away. It's with gusto. Okay, get right back on your feet, Carol, and get right back out there. So what I did, I remained single. I was a widow for 8 years. And I was a school teacher. I had my master's when I came back. That was my insurance card in case anything happened to Farouk or to Kamran or to myself. I thought, this is a measure that I can take to help support the family, especially in our new life, our restart. It was a springboard to something else. So after Farouk's death, I continued to teach, and our son continued his college education as his father had wanted him to. And eventually, I met a very eclectic man, okay, with a very strong accent again. And I said, you know, I don't know what it is with these accents because they seem to blind me. But this man was Jose Noriega Paz. And he was very intent on the pursuit. And I said, you know, let's slow down here. Let's just take our time and think this out, okay? Because after all, I think I'm a rational person. I'm not sure whether he was or not. But after 4 months of dating and getting to know one another and each other's backgrounds, I knew, again, I was taking a chance, stepping into a culture, Spaniard from Madrid, that was going to mean some readjustments. But I thought, you know, Farouk, thank you. You've prepared me for this man, okay?
Oh,
and
Farouk
would have loved him very much. He would have said, Carol, you've got my okay. So, in fact, Farouk had more than an okay for Jose. Jose was just what I needed. So we were married, and that was in 2003. And then shortly after that, we decided to start a business back in Ohio where my mother was, because she was ailing. She was 98, fully lucid, fully spunky, but she had a stage 4 colon cancer that we didn't know about. So we opened the store, and it was called Perfumes and More, and it was designer fragrances, and it was a beautiful store. But my mother died shortly the same week as we opened the store.
Oh.
So that was probably
Painful.
It was very painful because she had been a woman of education in a time when women during the early 1900s didn't go to college, but she did, and she worked her way through. She was a teacher. She was innovative, but she was disciplined.
Sounds like an inspiration to you.
She was. She really was. And my mom always had this look in her face that said, you know, you can get through this, Carol. You can do this. You wear your heart on your sleeve, but I'm telling you, this is going to happen. So you just walk through this, okay? You're going to be fine. And she gave me a lot of spunk and a lot of ways to think about, okay, this is doable. This is doable. So from Ohio, Jose and I had business there, a great business. But we decided, because he had a natural love of Nevada, and he
had that in his heart to come out here.
He had that in his heart.
So he's set for Nevada. Okay.
But he didn't tell me. Okay.
Did it start out just a visit to Nevada? Oh, okay.
Yes, it did. He decided to take me on our honeymoon to Nevada. And I thought, well, there are a lot of other places I can think of that probably I'd rather go than Nevada. I just remember it as a kid. That was one of our travels with my family. There's a lot of desert and mountains, and it was super hot. So we came in the wintertime. It wasn't hot. And they had a tremendous snowstorm all during that. It was really the snowfall of the decade, to speak. And we went from place to place, and I have this new husband, and I'm looking at my husband, how he handles situations, how he deals with people, and I thought, he really loves Nevada. He has this love affair with the place. We can go to ghost towns, we can go to Reno, we could go to Las Vegas, and for me, it was all new territory, and not necessarily familiar territory, but I kept seeing in him a love for this state. So when he decided to come back a second and a third time, I said, are we eventually going to live there, do you think? He said, no question about it. It's when you say we're ready.
So he was plotting and planning.
Yes,
and
he was.
bringing you out here to experience Nevada to see what you thought.
And I have no regrets. I have no regrets.
So what led to the Woman to Woman show here?
This was Jose, again. He had seen the program in Venezuela.
Called Woman to Woman.
Called Woman to Woman. It was called Woman to Woman, not
Women to
Right.
Women. Okay.
And he was intrigued because it had a huge following. And if you and I probably have some familiarity with the drama, the melodrama, the high emotions of the South American and the Caribbean peoples. Okay, their lives are a daily performance in many ways, as they are in the Middle East, because their spirits and their nature is what can I call very strong living with strong emotions to back that up. So he said to me while we were still in business in Ohio, Carol, would you like to, you like people, you like to talk with them, and you're a teacher, you're a natural in front of crowds, what about a radio program? And I thought, I just kind of poo-pooed it. He said, no, I'm serious, it won't be very long, it'll only be about 10, 15 minutes long, if we can find a sponsor. So that was accomplished. Jose accomplishes a lot of things behind the scenes.
So he saw a lot in you. He visioned you.
He trusted.
Being able to do that, from knowing you, that he believed in you to be able to do something, that he saw something out of nowhere.
I guess he did, but I didn't see it. So we had a fissy-fiss for a while there on that issue. But I finally did it. And it grew and grew, and people were listening, men, teenagers, women, everybody. So when we came to Nevada, I hadn't been here more than 2 or 3 weeks, not months, weeks, not years, weeks, days. And he said, Carol, we're going to step it up and go on television. And I thought, oh my goodness, I cannot handle this man. He is constantly ahead of me. But he said, I want you to think about it. It's doable. And there was that expression that he used of my mother. He had no idea that she had used that expression.
Oh.
And he kind of picks up, sometimes they're cliches, but he picks up a lot of street talk because, you know, as an immigrant, that's how you learn the language. And he's now a U.S. citizen. But I thought, you know, that's kind of a transmission of one person to another. And I said, all right, Mom, maybe this is doable.
Resonated in my heart.
It resonated in my heart. So that's how Women to Women here got started.
And it was only days after you were here.
Literally.
And how did you come to partner with Villa Basque?
Pete Koskarat and his wife Martha, who are the owners of Villa Basque, were very close to where we were originally living here in Carson City. And Jose's mother was Basque. So he wanted to know what this was all about. Connection. And Pete and Jose found a rapport instantly. Jose speaks some Basque. He speaks Portuguese very well. And it was a natural. And they're both immigrants. They both came to this country, have earned their U.S. citizenship.
Another connection.
Another connection. And they're both businessmen. They're entrepreneurs.
Yes.
They're not afraid to take chances. And they're not afraid to work hard.
And so part of what Jose does, he has Carpa Nevada LLC. And did he start with some of his products here?
Yes, yes. Jose has a very unique voice.
Yes.
He was at one time, for a long period of time, the voice of Coca-Cola for Major League Baseball. When the games were in this country or out of this country, and they were delivered in English in this country, of course, in the baseball stadiums, he delivered them in Spanish to the Caribbean, to South America, and to Spain. So he was their very well-known announcer for a long time, very successful. And he was in a series of businesses all throughout the United States, from one coast to the other, and in the South. He had a confidence about him in business, and he had a confidence about working with people. And he has insightfulness when it comes to businesses that people appreciate and that are different. And his father was connected to the Portuguese olive oils and to the Italian olive oils.
That's right, he was a diplomat.
Yes. He was a diplomat for Franco, but he was also a businessman, and his business was the exportation to Venezuela of the olive oils, of the extra virgin olive oils, the cheeses, the rice, birdseed. And his father was a natural, and he taught his only child, his only son, Jose, the world of business and the world of travel.
And so bringing it back to the deli here, because we can see the teas and the very fine olive oils, and you also teach that here. Not only do you have the Women to Women show,
Right.
you also teach the health benefits of
Correct.
the teas and the olive oils. I know that's what I had learned from you, because now I have these olive oils in my house. And
They're
the
really
and the
good.
very fine teas, and this is a lovely thing because you can't find that around here.
No.
These lovely specialty teas and the olive oils. Tell me a little bit about the olive oils and what got you involved in wanting to teach some of this to the community.
Well, I think a lot of it stems from the natural course within ourselves. As a teacher, I'm concerned about health of students. I'm concerned about their well-being overall, not only their educational well-being, but their physical, their emotional, their mental well-being. And it starts with having nutritious food. And when Jose came into my life, he was an avid eater, of olive oils. It had been in his culture, in his life. So when he started presenting me with how to choose an olive oil, how to cook with an olive oil, I paid attention and I learned. And then he started cooking in our kitchen. He's a chef.
A really good one.
Yes, he is, and a truly legitimate one with lots of years of experience, He has graduated both in Europe from culinary schools, but also from Hyde Park Culinary School of Cuisine. And I began to understand the difference it made with my skin, with my eyes, with my hair, a lot of things.
Because you're vibrant. You are very vibrant.
Well, thank you. And I'm saying so much of it has to do with what we eat. So he asked me if I would partner with him on his food shows, his demonstrations. And again, that was a newie for me. I like food, I like the presentations, I like the crowds, I like the people, I like teaching. So we worked as a partnership, and we do a lot of food shows, both private and public, here and out.
What I enjoy about your show and you is your connection to the people, and all the way from eating, the healthy surroundings, focusing on women, their issues, and bringing solution into this and presenting this in the community. Where do you see Women to Women going in our future here in Carson City?
Well, the public often determines that, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with the public, behind the screens, behind the lights, out in front, because it means a better community for all of us. So I want to say thank you, Dana, very much for not only taking the time with me and with Women to Women and doing the interview, because each one is different, and I think you've peeled off some layers, You got me back in shape during the break, because there were some tears there. So I want to say thank you to Dana Friend. I want to say thank you to our viewing audience, and we will see you again next week with a brand new show, a brand new guest, and just as knowledgeable as Dana is. So have a good evening. Good night.